Another bangerino by Nerd Science. Which hero would win in a strongman competition? For some reason, I thought this said strong arm challenge or something at first. I was about to say, like, what, these boys about to be like arm wrestling? That's about to be crazy. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Who is winning out of all these characters? Who's winning in a strongman competition? I mean, we already know Hellboy, Homelander, either Spider-Man and Juggernaut are out. So that leaves Thor, Kratos, and Hulk. And Hulk is probably the one. Let's be honest, right? Like, I mean, I don't see anybody else doing that. I mean, I forgot about Superman too. Superman, damn. I don't know. All these dudes, except for Hellboy. I don't know why Hellboy's in this. Is Hellboy actually that strong? I don't know if he's that strong. I don't know. But let's check this out, boys, shall we?
8 beings who have stopped asteroids, cracked continents, and punched holes through reality are standing in the same arena, and only one walks out with the title. Hulk, Juggernaut, Superman, Thor, Homelander, Kratos, Spider-Man, and Hellboy. You know their names. You've seen the fights. But a fist fight lets you cheat. You can use speed, tactics, rage, a well-timed dodge. A strongman competition doesn't care about any of that. It only cares about one.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. If all these dudes started fighting at the same time, if they all like hit each other with some like crazy ass, Homelander's dead immediately. He's dead for sure. I don't care what anybody says. That man is gone. Like, he's not surviving any of these guys. Why is Homelander even in here? Oh, this is crazy.
Can your body actually produce the Force? This is Mike, your host here on Nerd Science. Hit the like button, subscribe, and get ready, because today's video is absolutely insane. So, we stripped away the plot armor, handed each of them a harness, and let thermodynamics decide. 4 events, 8 competitors, 1 winner. Let's find out.
You either spend hours modeling them in
out who actually has the biological architecture to survive. Event 1, the carrier pull. The first event is a vehicle pull, the classic opening test of any strongman competition, except nothing about this is classic. The object sitting at the far end of the bedrock arena is a grounded orbital dreadnought, a deep space warship with a listed dry mass of 5 million tons. In a real strongman pull, the athlete's job is to overcome static friction and then maintain a pulling force.
He said 5 million tons. 5 million tons. 5 million tons. Just like Elon Musk became a trillionaire. Like, what? You know what I mean? That's insane. 5 million. 5 million tons. I mean, geez. Do we have anything on Earth that weighs 5 million tons? I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the carrier is probably like, yeah, maybe. Can't wrap my mind around 5 million tons. Like, that's insane. Spider-Man's not pulling that at all. This is gonna eliminate like 2 people immediately.
Greater than the rolling resistance across the full distance. The physics that decide who wins come down to ground reaction force. Can your feet push back against the earth harder than the tether pulls you forward? If they can't, you don't move the ship. You move yourself. Spider-Man goes first. This actually makes sense as a strategic choice because Peter's bioelectric adhesion lets him bond his feet directly to the bedrock surface, bypassing normal friction limits entirely. A standard human competitor slips because their shoes can only generate so much grip. Peter doesn't slip. His contact with the ground is nearly total. He drops into a perfect pulling stance. The harness goes taut, and for about 2 seconds, it genuinely looks like he might do something. Then the bedrock cracks under his feet. Then it shears. Then a slab of solid rock, roughly the size of a school bus, tears completely free, and Peter goes backward with it. Still attached, still pulling, the ship completely unmoved. His adhesion was strong enough to rip the ground apart, but his maximum output, somewhere between 10 and 25 tons, depending on the comic run you're pulling from isn't anywhere close to the static friction load of 5 million tons of warship on solid rock. He's out, tier F. Hellboy takes the harness next and runs into a completely different problem. The right hand of Doom isn't just heavy, it's a different density than the rest of his body, which means his center of mass sits off-axis, pulled to the right. In a normal fight, that doesn't matter much because he can adjust his stance constantly. In a vehicle pull, you need a straight, stable pulling vector from feet through hips, through shoulders, through the tether. The moment the harness loads up and Hellboy drives forward, the asymmetric torque hits him like a wrench thrown into a drivetrain. He twists, overcorrects, and the lateral force buckles his pulling angle. He collapses sideways somewhere around the 40-meter mark and taps the mat. Tier D. The remaining 6 step up, and it's a different competition entirely. Juggernaut gets the Dreadnought moving fast, charging into the harness with that signature unstoppable momentum and dragging the ship across the finish line like he's annoyed it took this long. Like Superman pulls clean and technically. Textbook posture, controlled acceleration. Hulk just leans into it and grunts. Thor, Homelander, and Kratos all finish, each one slower than the last, each one burning more.
Wait. Homelander, okay, Homelander, 5 million tons. Homelander, what's up? Why he get cooked by the Viltrumite? He's so 5 million tons worthy. What the Homelander for real? I don't know. I gotta watch the show. Maybe I gotta watch the show, see for myself why.
Effort than the first 3, but they all cross. The scoreboard after one event is exactly what the power rankings predicted it would be. Spider-Man and Hellboy are eliminated. One because the universe is heavier than his adhesion is strong, and the other because biology doesn't care how tough you are if your own arm is working against you. 6 competitors left. The ship is done. Now the stones come out, and the stones are built from something that makes a 5 million ton warship look light. The Neutron Atlas stones. 5 stones. 4 made from solid titanium. The 5th is something else entirely. A neutron star fragment is not just a heavy rock. Neutron star material runs somewhere around 400 million tons per teaspoon because the electron shells that normally give atoms their size have been crushed completely out of existence. What's left is nuclear matter packed so tight that a piece the size of a basketball would sink through the Earth's crust like a bullet through water. The tournament organizers have it suspended in a localized gravity containment field, which keeps it from doing exactly that. But the gravitational shear it produces in the space around it is real and it's constant. Getting your hands around it doesn't just test how much you can lift. It tests whether your skeletal structure can stay coherent inside a localized gravity gradient that is actively trying to pull every part of you towards its center at different rates. The first 4 titanium stones go fast. All 6 competitors clear them without much drama, which tells you something about the caliber of the field that's still standing. Homelander finishes the titanium run looking almost bored, stacking each stone with the kind of fluid overhead control that comes from a body built in a Vought laboratory to be the apex of what Compound V can produce. Then he reaches the 5th platform. The mistake Homelander makes isn't effort. He drives under the neutron stone hard and gets it moving. The mistake is that he reflexively unweights himself. The micro expression of flight activation that his body falls back on whenever a load gets serious. Just a fraction of upward force through his frame to take the edge off. In a fight, that reflex keeps him from buckling. Here, it destroys his ground leverage at the exact moment the gravity shear across the stone peaks. His Compound V skeleton is dense and strong, but it was engineered for combat loads. Dynamic forces distributed across a moving frame. The static shear from the stone's localized gravity hits his bones like a vice, and they flex, not break. Flex, but flex is enough. The stone drops 2 feet short of the platform. Tier C.
The bones are
Kratos gets
flexing.
it further. He locks onto the stone with both hands and drives upward through pure divine musculature. No tricks, no flight reflex, nothing but the raw output of a body that has killed actual gods and kept moving. The first 18 inches off the ground, he looks unstoppable. Then his grip becomes the problem. Human hands, even God-forged ones, have a finite contact surface, and the gravity gradient around the stone is pulling the mass away from his palms at an angle his fingers can't compensate for. He's not losing to the weight. He's losing to the geometry of his own hand against a gravitational field that doesn't pull straight down. The stone rotates slightly in his grip, breaks contact, and hits the ground.
I don't know why that was so funny, but it's like it slipped out of his hand, and of course, like the stone's just gonna go straight through the earth, like.
About 3 inches from the lip of the platform, he stares at it for a long moment. Tier B. 4 competitors remain, and all 4 of them placed the stone clean. Hulk dropped it on the platform like it offended him. Superman set it down with the same controlled precision he used on the Dreadnought pull. Thor got it up with visible strain, but locked it out. Juggernaut didn't even slow down. The Neutron Stone filtered out the heroes who rely on technique, reflex, or engineered bone to fill the gap between their actual strength and the load. What's left are 4 beings whose output is simply measurably higher than everything the stone demanded. The deadlift bar is already loaded.
Yeah.
Event 3, the Lunar Deadlift. The deadlift rig in the center of the arena doesn't look like much. A steel bar, 2 uprights, a tether running down through the bedrock into a spatial anchor point connected to a mass simulator calibrated to the exact weight of the Earth's moon. 7.35 times 10 to the power of 22 kilograms. The bar doesn't move
Whatever
until
the
you
hell that
produce
is.
enough upward force to overcome that number completely. There's no rolling friction to exploit like in the vehicle pull. There's no gravity gradient to work around like the Neutron Stone. You grab the bar, you pull, and either the weight moves or it doesn't. That's it. A deadlift is the purest expression of static torque in sport, which is exactly why it's brutal for 2 of the 4 people still standing. Juggernaut goes first. His power is one of the most misunderstood in comics because it sounds like raw strength, but it isn't. Not exactly. The Juggernaut's ability comes from the Crimson Gem of Sidorak, and what that gem grants is unstoppable kinetic force once he's in motion. The key word is once. His strength at a dead stop, before he gets moving, is closer to peak human plus than the planet-cracking output people assume.
Right.
Every record-setting thing Juggernaut has ever done involved a running start, a charge, something already moving that he kept moving. He wraps his hand around the bar, sets his feet, drives upward with everything Sidorak gave him, and the bar doesn't move. Not an inch. You can see him trying to find the momentum, trying to trick his own power into activating by rocking back and driving through. But a static load has no momentum to tap into. The gem gives him nothing because there's nothing in motion to amplify. He releases the bar after 40 seconds. Tier A. Thor approaches the
Tier
platform
A.
without Mjolnir. That's a small detail. A significant portion of Thor's most extreme lifting feats in canon involve using Mjolnir to manipulate gravitational fields around the objects he's moving, which means he's not always lifting the full weight so much as locally rewriting how heavy it is. Without it, he's working purely off Asgardian biology, which is still extraordinary. Dense muscle tissue, bones that make titanium look soft, cellular energy output that runs orders of magnitude above human baseline. He gets the bar off the ground. That matters. He's past the point where Juggernaut stalled. The bar rises about 8 inches before the load transfers fully from his legs into his posterior chain, and his spine starts stacking under compression it wasn't designed to handle without the hammer compensating. The bar comes back down. His lumbar doesn't make a sound, but the way he straightens up afterward tells you everything. Tier A. 2 competitors left. Superman and Hulk both stepped to the bar and locked it out clean. The lunar weight rising to full extension like neither of them found it particularly interesting. Superman's lift was smooth and almost quiet. Hulk's was loud enough that dust fell from the arena ceiling and a few of the eliminated competitors took a step back. The final verdict is ready. The question stopped being about who's strong enough and became something harder. Whose power source runs out first? Event 4. The Singularity Overhead Press. The containment unit sitting on a platform weighs nothing by the standards of this competition. That's not the point. Inside it is a micro black hole, a collapsed singularity held in a magnetic suspension field, and the gravitational shear it produces doesn't just pull down on whatever's above it. It pulls outward, inward, and sideways simultaneously, meaning every muscle group holding the weight overhead is fighting a different vector at the same time. This isn't a strength test. It's a cellular endurance test. And the 2 competitors left have completely different fuel systems. Superman presses it first. The initial drive off the shoulders is clean. The weight rising to full lockout in about 3 seconds. Arms straight, spine stacked. The containment unit sitting overhead like it belongs there. He holds it 10 seconds, 20. The problem isn't the weight. The problem is that the gravitational shear field around the singularity is interacting directly with his solar-charged cells, stripping energy out of them the way a strong magnetic field rips charge from a battery sitting too close. His cells are solar thermal capacitors. They absorb and store yellow star radiation and convert it into physical output. But that reserve is finite at any given moment. You can't recharge mid-lift by looking at a light bulb. The field bleeds him faster than he can compensate, and you can see it happening. The lockout starts to waver around the 90-second mark. His elbows micro-bend. His breath goes short in a way that it normally never does. At 2 minutes and 11 seconds, his left knee touches the ground. He doesn't drop the unit. He controls it down, which says everything about who he is. But the knee contact ends the attempt. He's done. Hulk steps up to the bar. The press itself is ugly. Where Superman's was smooth, Hulk's looks like a car crash in slow motion. The weight grinding upward through pure aggression. Neck tendons visible from across the arena. A sound coming out of him that's somewhere between a roar and a pressure valve failing. He gets it to lock out, and then the shear field starts doing to him what it did to Superman. Except Hulk's biology doesn't respond to pain and frustration by degrading. It responds by escalating. Every cell in his body that feels the gravitational drain registers it as a threat. And threat is the exact input that drives his muscle density upward in real time. His skin goes darker. His shoulders widen visibly. The veins in his forearms look like bridge cables. The containment unit that was shaken overhead at the 2-minute mark is sitting rock solid at 4 minutes because he is now producing more force than he was when he started, not less. The shear field is feeding the very mechanism it was trying to exploit. He holds it for 9 minutes and 40 seconds before the tournament officials stop the clock. Not because he's failing, because he's not. The green giant sets the unit down, turns around, and sits on the...
He really is the strongest one there is. When he says that, like, he's not lying. He's not lying.
Arena floor. Nobody approaches him. The scoreboard doesn't need to say anything.
Wow. That's
Hulk
insane,
wins a
dude.
tournament that was designed by physics to have no winner. Because the one power physics can't budget for is a rage that treats damage as fuel. If you want to see this roster go head-to-head in a speed and agility bracket next, subscribe to Nerd Science. That tournament gets weirder fast.
Yeah, no, we need more tournament Johns like that. I think that was cool. Like, I would say something different. We need a character Who's a character that's stronger than Hulk though, in terms of like physical strength? There is none, right? And could keep it going for like a long time and just keep getting stronger. Freaking broken. Let me know what you guys thought about that down in the comments below. Did you guys like that though? That was badass. I like seeing them do the weights and stuff. That was really cool. Hit that like button too. Hit that sub button if you enjoyed. The fact that he's able to make something with AI and, you know, it's cool. Well, at least to me, it's cool. Like, I like it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys like it as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's cool. There's nothing like it right now. Like, we can't see our favorite characters doing weird. Not saying like it's weird, but like, you know what I mean? We can't see them doing stuff like this. There's no animation out with all those characters doing that. I think it's decent. It's cool. Yeah, that'll do, boys. GG's. GG's.